Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back. But unfortunately, we have a problem. And in case you're wondering what quite I meant, well, I'll just cut to the long and short of it right now. I got a phone call off my boss about, basically the whole story is that I accidentally left my phone at home all day. So I wasn't bored or anything like that. I was busy at work. I was at work anyway. Why would I be bored? So I was hard at work, doing what I do, and then a person who does like the night shifts, because I work from 9 till 7, and I get her, and one of them comes down and says, "Oh, Jim, your boss is on the phone," and we got talking. It was very, very nice, very pleasant, very casual. Then I get hear the news because about the extension to COVID-19 Touchpoint staff. They're going to start cutting the hours on April 1st. So I could be working it could go from 58 hours to 50 hours, maybe to 48, maybe even to 40. Maybe I'll be just doing the 9 till 5 when I first started working. And the entire job is going to come to an end at the beginning of July. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what you might call a blow. It's, yeah, and that's the only way I could put it. It is a blow. Now, fortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it took me all of about 5 seconds to process the information. Actually, no, I lie about that. It took me 1 second to process the information. So it's fair to say, you know what, I'm beyond the shock process. I'm beyond the feelings of sadness, grief, all the rest of it. Now we are on to the next step, because every day from... Okay, let me just do a quick count. How many days are there until... There are 166 days. I've got 166 days left at my work. And I would have been there for in fact, by the time it gets to July, because I actually started my job on the 22nd of July 2020, I would have been there for nearly 3 whole years. Cut me just short of the 3-year mark, but you know what? When you work 6 days a week for the last 2 years, I used to work just 9 till 5 for the first 2 months of my job. Then it was 9 till 7. And then when December came around 2020, it was Monday to Saturday. That's how it was. Okay, so 166 days. Now, what is going to happen in the 166 days? The following things have got to happen. I've got to make this work. That's exactly that, and that's it. That is literally it. I have got to make this work. And the only way I can make this work is by first acknowledging that I am only in control of the things that are in my control. I have my second driving test on the 1st of February. If I do not pass this test on February 1st, that is going to make life very, very difficult. Because even if, COVID is being lifted and all that, and things are getting back to normal, and it's easier to get certain places and stuff like that, what I'm concerned about is the fact that, for one reason or another, because there are jobs that I'm desperately after that require having a license. For example, if I want to go through the route of working in television, then that means I really have to. I need to have I need to have a license. I need to be able to drive. It could be to Forest Hall. It could be to Denton-Burn. It could be to Kenton. It could be all the way in Northumbria, for all I know. And that could be in the span of a few days. So I have absolutely got to make sure that I pass, and so I'm able to do it. Because, no word of a lie, driving gives me so many more opportunities than I think I've actually managed to put out so far. So that's a very important thing. The other thing that is within my control is making all my stuff on YouTube work, as well as all my stuff on TikTok and Instagram, etc. You know how I can make this work? By continuing as I do, I pursue what I'm after. And I'll discuss. I'm gonna go into more detail about this when I do my end of the month analytics video for my channel, since that'll give you guys a bit of a stronger insight as to exactly how I manage myself, what goals I'm setting for myself, and what I've got to look forward to in the future. Because that is one of the biggest things, ladies and gentlemen. They say, and because for those who don't know, I am actually a very religious man. Hope is a gift from the Holy Spirit. And God would not want to see any of his own kind hurt or dismayed, because he wouldn't dare of hurt or dismaying any of his flock. You know what? Call me what you will. That is what I believe in. That is what I have chosen. And I have made that decision consciously, and if for no other reason than it is still what I believe in. It may be against logic, it may be against common sense, but there are so many things on this earth, ladies and gentlemen, that are against logic and against common sense and against common civility. So is it not right and just for me to believe that there is hope in this world? Is it right and just for anyone to? Is it right and just for anybody to absolutely, I hear these things early on in the news about legislation being passed on to police to saying that they have the right to break up anything that resembles a protest whatsoever. And I also hear on Radio 4 this morning about how Bret Easton Ellis, the man who wrote American Psycho, among other things, was talked about how some of his things offend people. But Bret absolutely stood in there saying that as a writer, he absolutely had to have the responsibility, all of it in the world, to be able to convey to the world exactly what he wanted to say. So he understands exactly what he's writing because it's for a purpose. He doesn't just write Patrick Bateman slaughtering, Paul Allen because it didn't have a purpose. It had a purpose. Or when Patrick Bateman's running around a yuppie's a flat apartment with a chainsaw and then drops it on her from a whole flight of stairs. There's a reason for all this, and the reason to why Patrick Bateman confesses to his lawyer. There's so many things in it, and I write stuff as well. I've been interested in writing scripts for the last 5 years. I've sold my own scripts before to people. I've worked for people who want me to write scripts. I've sold my stuff and people have bought it. So it's not as if, I'm completely without, it's not like I'm completely without, any sense of talent or shred of doubt whatsoever. Believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, even at this rather tumultuous and tenuous sort of time, I do not need for any reason whatsoever to anyone to convince me in the very center of my mind that I should be ashamed or embarrassed about who I really am. I know who I really am, and I'm tired of pretending that I should be ashamed of who I am. Oh dear, this has almost reminded me of. In Joker, when he's finally being interviewed by Franklin Murray. Yeah, that's what I feel like this is. It feels like it's one of those moments where you see, because my conscience is perfectly clear about what I want and what I want to do. So we've got to keep on. We've got to keep working. I will work until my fingers are bloody, my eyes are bleeding, my nose is bleeding, blood comes out of my ears, my hair falls out. I have to literally claw at my own clothes to rip them off, for my skin to start melting, for my bones to start breaking, for my veins to start screaming, for my nerves to start crying in pain. It's not going to be easy, ladies and gentlemen. But unlike last year, I'm not going to let my pessimism, I'm not going to let my doubt, my fear, my anguish, my pain, my misery, I'm not going to let my failures get in the way for me trying for this. This is not about, ladies and gentlemen, this is not about staying in there. This is not about proving a point. This is not about getting another job. This is not about staying in there because I'm too proud to give in. This is redemption, ladies and gentlemen. This is a raging redemption. Thank you for listening, and good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck indeed.